Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Mahalia Joseph and C News is live at noon.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed with sports.
We open with a developing news story. Police are currently on the scene of a murder in East Port of Spain. A 19-year-old has been shot dead following gunplay on Duncan Street. Details are still coming in, but C News understands the incident happened near the Salvation Army building at around 9 a.m. Police found the man already dead at the scene. Investigators have identified the teen as Kadeem Richardson. Several spent shells were retrieved at the scene of the shooting. President of the Prison Officers Association, Saren Richards, says he doesn't know of any go-slow at the maximum security prison, but says he will totally understand if the prison officers wanted to. Mr. Richards was speaking to C News via the telephone.
I could neither confirm nor deny whether or not there is a go-slow at the maximum security prison. What I can tell you, if there's in fact one that is happening as we speak, I could understand, the Prison Officers Association could understand why officers will want to take that type of position.
He said that for far too long, prison officers have been complaining about stab-proof vests, alarms and other necessities, and their calls have fallen on deaf ears. Western Division Police seized a gun and a quantity of narcotics in St. James on Sunday night. At around 9 p.m., police responded to a report of an armed man being spotted at Dononal Hill. When they came to the area, they found the firearm, one Glock 19 pistol with a full clip of ammunition and some small bags of marijuana. While earlier on Sunday, officers from the San Juan CID went to an abandoned house on Vicky Trace, Lacano Road, Santa Cruz. A loaded revolver was found and no one was present at the building. Workers attached to a rig drilling on behalf of BP are at this time preparing to stage a protest in front of the company's office in Port of Spain, showing their disapproval over the company's failure to address their safety concerns. On Sunday, this video was sent to the C newsroom, showing workers just before they were escorted from a rig owned by Rowan Drilling Limited. C News understands that some 22 workers were removed from the rig, which is doing work off the east coast of Trinidad. The last batch of workers is said to have been removed on Saturday. Speaking with C News this morning, Labour Relations Officer of the Oilfields Workers Trade Union, Mr. Lyndon Mendoza, said today's demonstration is a last resort as their concerns continue to be ignored by the company.
I am informed that on the 30th, workers would have down tools, what we call in the industry a safety stand-down, having regard to outstanding safety concerns. Over the last 2 months, that we have seen an increase and also a pattern in terms of incidents and accidents on the offshore installation rig, which resulted in both damage to equipment and to personnel.
Reports suggest operations at the rig have not been totally halted. Mr. Mendoza says there's now an added concern over the use of scab labor.
Has taken a decision to put probably the platform, the operations, the environment and the country at risk by utilizing scab labor to continue the operations on the offshore installation, which is a very worrying situation if it is indeed true.
Desist immediately, display greater sensitivity and allow his mourners their right to grieve in peace. The Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force has urged the public to stop spreading rumors about Warrant Officer Class 2 Omar Samaroo. Peter Christopher has more in this report.
In a press release issued on Sunday, the Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Rodney Smart called upon all persons, in particular those who hold responsible positions in our society, to immediately cease and desist from making spurious and baseless allegations and to be sensitive to the needs of WO2 Samaroo's family, friends and his colleagues at this very difficult time of their bereavement. Warrant Officer Samaroo was found dead in a dormitory at Camp Kumuto last Tuesday. Days later, UNC Senator Wayne Sturge threatened to sue the Defense Force if they failed to investigate his death, asserting that he had injuries apart from the gunshot wound which killed him. The Defense Force release also sought to dispel this rumor by pointing out the autopsy results confirmed his death was caused by a single gunshot wound to the head and there was no other mark of violence. It stated the death of any service member which occurs on a military establishment automatically triggers a board of inquiry. It went on further, while the board of inquiry is still in session, the TTDF at this time can categorically deny the mischievous and irresponsible claims by some. The WO2 Samaroo's autopsy report indicates multiple injuries to his body. Omar Samaroo was cremated on Saturday following a funeral under Hindu rites. Peter Christopher, C News.
This is the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. And on another note, for our commuters coming from West Trinidad into Port of Spain in the next hour or so, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force advises that there will be minor traffic delays in connection to the funeral of Lance Corporal Daniel Gill. Lance Corporal Gill died in a vehicular accident along the Diego Martin Highway last week Sunday and will be laid to rest at the military cemetery on Long Circle Road today following a 10 a.m. funeral mass at the Church of the Assumption. The TTDF advises that a planned military procession carted between 12 noon and 1 p.m. may cause inconvenience for the commuting public and apologizes for this inconvenience. National effort is needed if we are to survive the downturn in the economy. This from economist Darren Conrad. Speaking on Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago, he said closer attention should be paid to the allocation of funds in these economically trying times. Jean Baptiste has more.
Based on information coming out of the central bank and ministries, things are likely to get worse before they get better. So says economist Darren Conrad. He says, though still struggling, the economy appears to have been stabilized somewhat. However, he finds it unfortunate that we have and in some cases continue to miss the mark on issues which should have been addressed with some degree of urgency. One such issue, he says, is government spending.
There have been some efforts to reduce government spending, but that continues to be the bane of our existence. One of the main challenges is to realign those expenditures, bearing in mind that we have significant shortfalls in our oil and gas rents. So when we look at that against the backdrop of a significant percentage of the government's expenditure is in subsidies and transfers, which would be in excess of 50%. So I think the most recent report coming out was in excess of 60% of government expenditure.
In these trying economic times, Mr. Conrad says greater discretion should be exercised when allocating funds. He contends that everyone, from government officials to the average citizen, must acknowledge and act on their role in righting the economy. The economist says changes must be made on a national level.
We cannot continue to maintain the levels of expenditure in the face of declining rents from oil and gas. There was a recent uptick in unemployment, which is still not too bad when we look at it still being single digits, and it is still below the global average for unemployment levels. But what I think we also need to pay attention to is the unemployment in terms of the demographics as well as the municipal areas. So for instance, while we do have a 4.4% unemployment rate, when we look at the ages, between the ages of 15 to 19, we see an unemployment rate of in excess of 10%. And then from 19 on to 25, we see an unemployment rate in excess of 13%.
Mr. Conrad said the unemployment rate in southwest Trinidad is in excess of 20%, while areas like Diego Martin is less than 2%. He believes that the issue of inequity needs to be addressed as the disparity in unemployment rates in different areas throughout the country is cause for serious concern. Dion Batiste, C News.
Time now for the weather. In the forecast today, this afternoon is expected to be predominantly hot. Sunny and hazy conditions are expected today. Light showers would interrupt sunny conditions in few areas during the day. Tonight will be mostly clear. Seas are normal, occasionally moderate, with waves 2 meters, occasionally 2.5 meters in open waters, near 1 meter in sheltered areas. All persons with marine interests are asked to exercise caution if venturing out to sea, particularly along the northern and sheltered coastlines due to the presence of long-period northerly swells. Police are seeking the identity of a man who died following an accident along the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway early on Sunday. According to reports, a RAV4 struck the man who was attempting to cross the highway. He died later on Sunday. The driver cooperated with police. Police are still trying to identify the pedestrian. To some other news now, social activist Mtima Solwazi believes the Minister of National Security perhaps used the wrong approach on Friday. Minister Edmund Dillon was widely criticized on social media for confronting unruly ISIS last week.
Longer than that. So there were other discussions taking place outside, but that was shown on television by all the media houses because that is newsworthy. You know, the minister clashed with unruly ISIS, quote unquote. But there were other discussions taking place outside. They were outside longer than 5 minutes decay. I was there, right? And probably in hindsight, the minister could look back and realize that probably the approach wasn't really the best approach at that point in time, you know. So there's a lot to learn from that experience on Friday.
However, the group to which Solwazi is attached, the Citizen Security Program, faces an uncertain future.
Tomorrow is the 4th. The contract up tomorrow, please God. As of today, we still don't know what's the situation with CSP in terms of the extension or the continuation of the program into a second phase. Because as you know, CSP is a pilot project. Has been running so for the past 8 or 9 years. So we got a special extension, a 1-year special extension, take us into 2017, April the 4th. So we are still awaiting word.
The Ministry of Health has provided an update on the status of the Point Fortin Hospital. In a release on Sunday, the ministry said they wish to correct some misinformation concerning the construction of the project so that the population, especially the residents of Point Fortin, can feel confident that the government is progressing with speed on the Point Fortin Hospital project. The release stated all earthworks are now completed and in approximately 4 weeks steelworks will commence. The level of employment via this project will eventually increase to between 300 and 400 persons. The release closed on completion of the Point Fortin Hospital. Further permanent employment will be created in the form of medical and non-medical positions. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, led by Dr. Keith Rowley, is 100% committed to bringing the Point Fortin Hospital to completion to serve the medical needs of the Southwest Peninsula. We now turn over to Nasir Mohammed, who is going to tell us what's happening in sport. Nasir.
Well, Mahalia, as I'm sure is that West Indies lost the series, the T20 series, something that I'm not too pleased about. It's not too surprising that Pakistan rebounded in spectacular fashion to win Game 4 of the T20 series with the West Indies and secure the trophy by 3 matches to 1. As we hear from Ruskin Mark, the Windies' batting faltered again, and as they could only muster 124 for 8, to which Pakistan responded boldly to post 127 for 3 to win by 7 wickets and wrap up the series as well. Meanwhile, West Indies T20 captain Carlos Brathwaite isn't pleased with the execution of his players despite a few bright sparks in the 4-match series just concluded with Pakistan. He is hoping that when the team reconvenes for the 3-match series against the touring Afghanistans in June, that his T20 team will have better results.
When players come off, the same shots that they get out with, if it goes over the boundary for 6, we say well played, that was brave, that was brilliant. As a management team, we want to encourage players to express themselves. We just ask for a little more awareness than we have seen shown thus far in the series. And you know, it's for us to go back to the drawing board individually again, come back against Afghanistan, repeat the things we did well, and improve on the things we didn't do so well.
And that was the sport for today.
That's the C News Report at noon. I'm Mahalia Joseph.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed.
Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.